Hi, this is Ron Herman with We're Working with Ron. We're doing the frequently asked questions again. Today we're going to tackle a question about the differences in files, floats, and Rasp. I have here a float, a regular file, a Rasp, and then we have kind of a combination Rasp and file here. It's called a Surform, made by the Stanley Tool Company. I also have it's called a card scraper. It's a tool used to clean the files with that you should have. First, we'll start off with the float. A float is a tool. It's a piece of steel that they've taken a milling machine and they've cut small radiuses in it, and it's similar to like an Inconel gouge almost. Where you would use a float mostly, we got just a little craft chair here real quick that you might build. If you're working like rounding the edge of this here and you've got end grain sticking up at you, the float is a perfect tool for that. Float leaves a nice finish, kind of like a plane does or a block plane does. The file here is another piece of steel that they have taken a milling machine in, but they've cut slots in it. Sometimes you'll see them, it'll be double cut. This is a single cut here. And again, it's like sandpaper lined up in a row there. It's a rough tool. It's not perfectly smooth like a float, but it doesn't take too big a chunk. So as you're rounding the top here, you can get some radius work and stuff on that it'll clean up that end grain where if you don't have a radius plane or something else to finish it. Next one's a Rasp. A Rasp is different than the two here. Unlike a milling machine cutting it, this is punched in here, and the metal is kind of tore up, leaving almost like a hook, and it's used for fast stock removal. So if you bandsaw this and there were heavy bandsaw marks or jigsaw marks on it, you would take those away quickly with a Rasp. Then you would switch to a file. And of course on here, these are flat here. You would use a radius file or a radius Rasp. And then the last one with the Surform here, it's a piece of sheet steel. It's pretty thin. It's pretty tough steel. It's actually got a screw here at the end that tensions it, similar to like a frame saw blade is done. Holes are poked through the steel, and that sharp edge, just like if you were to cut a gutter or something, that sharp metal would catch you. That's what they've done here. And they've kind of smoothed it over so they're like little mouths of a plane. And that can be used to file on here. You can do flat work, the edge work and such. They do make some that are radius to do inside work. But unlike a file that has to be scraped with a card scraper to clean out the teeth, this acts like a plane, and the debris or the writhings are basically the work of the plane of this tool is carried up in here, and you just simply tap it and clean it out that way. But those are the differences of the four tools you'll see in your shop, and kind of an example of what you'll be using for.